Pretty good look at Clayton Kershaw. Among other things, his earned run average at home is 1.7, and in his last 9 starts, his earned run average is less than 1. You have to go back to the 10th of June, the last time that Clayton lost a game, and he comes in with a record of 8-5. He is also 1-0 as far as Milwaukee is concerned. So the 21-year-old who has really established himself, he defeated Milwaukee in the middle of July on the 12th, allowing just 1 run in 6 innings and picked up the victory. Last time out, he was absolutely brilliant against a hard-hitting St. Louis team. He pitched 8 scoreless innings and didn't factor. Jonathan Broxton blew the save in the 9th inning. The Dodgers went on and lost 3-2 in 15 innings. But that's the way he's been pitching, out of sight. So we will see about how Clayton makes out against the left-handed ball club, starting off with Felipe Lopez, a switch hitter, and Ken Maka, who among other things is a Pennsylvania man from head to toe. Not only did he manage at Oakland and first manager here, a graduate of the University of Pittsburgh with a degree in civil engineering, and just to the right on the screen, the familiar face of Willie Randolph, who is his bench coach. So here we go. For the Brewers, it has been a struggle. They've won only 5 of the last 17 road games they've played. And Felipe Lopez from Puerto Rico, switch hitter, batting right-handed, checks in. And the first pitch swung on, punched on the ground to Orlando Hudson. And just like that, 1 pitch and 1 away. Take a look at the Dodgers with the leather. Ramirez, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield. The infield of Blake, Furcal, Hudson, and Loney. And the battery tonight with Clayton Kershaw and Brad Ausmus. By the way, we mentioned a moment ago about the Dodgers flying all night and getting home at about 4 o'clock in the morning. The starting pitcher, Clayton Kershaw, tonight, and tomorrow night's starting pitcher, Hiroki Kuroda, were flown home early to make sure they each had a good night's sleep. So they're the only 2 well-rested Dodgers, as the pitch to Casey McGee is in for a strike, and the count 0-1. So we have Casey Blake and Casey McGee. Casey's out of Santa Cruz and still lives there. Went to school at Fresno State. Backs off, takes a strike that bites the inside corner, and the count 0-2. So Clayton Kershaw, among other things, and this is also rather remarkable, he has not allowed a home run since early in May. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball just missed. Curveball up a little bit, and the count 1-2. So the big curveball dropped in, but it was out of the zone. 1-2 the count. Kershaw ready. Here he comes back with a fastball. Overthrows, and it's low. 2-2 the count. Casey McGee, a couple of years ago, he was with the Cubs, and he was at the Iowa Cubs farm club. They finished the game, and about an hour after the game, he was married. The pitch swung on and fouled away. They have a Cub club restaurant in Des Moines. So after the ball game, took off his baseball uniform, showered, cleaned up, got all dressed up. His best man was a teammate, and they were married. His wife said it wasn't exactly the kind of a wedding that I planned for or dreamt about having, but it served the purpose. 2-2 pitch, a bounce pitch in front of the plate. 3-2 the count. So Clayton Kershaw got Felipe Lopez on the first pitch. Now he's gone deep into the count. 3-2 to McGee, and Ryan Braun on deck. Kershaw into the windup. 3-2 pitch is a fastball low, and again you had the feeling he's not pitching. He's overthrowing. He almost fell off the mound in his follow through that time. Admittedly, he hit 95 on the gun, but he was just hurtling off the mound as he threw the pitch in the dirt. So now Ryan Braun checking in at the plate. It was last May the 13th here at Dodger Stadium where Ryan Braun became the first player in Major League history with at least 40 doubles and 40 home runs within a year of his Major League debut. And Braun who is a local boy, has also done some other rather remarkable things. He takes a pitch that misses, ball one. He's had 92 home runs in 3 years. That is doing a lot and doing it in a hurry. Braun, born in Mission Hills, lives in Granada Hills, but opted to go to school at the University of Miami. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Right-hand hitter takes low, so Kershaw fighting his control here, and a 2 ball, no strike count. So going out to the mound is Brad Ausmus, trying to calm Kershaw down. Meanwhile, Rick Honeycutt in the dugout, sweating out his young prodigy. The last 8 meetings between the Dodgers and the Brewers, the Dodgers have won 6 of the 8. The Brewers have hit 8 home runs, and the Dodgers have hit 21. That's one reason why they have worn out Milwaukee. So the Brewers, 1 game under 500, 4.5 back of the Cardinals, and the next pitch is low, ball 3. So the old story, you can throw the ball as hard as you want, you can break off great curve balls, etc., but if you don't throw strikes, you're in a lot of trouble. Kershaw now laboring. He's already had 66 walks. Left-hander out of a stretch. The 3-0 pitch to Braun, who has 21 home runs, is a low strike around the knees. 3-1 the count. Ryan Braun, good size. He is 6'2", 200-pounder. He was the Rookie of the Year, 2007. Ryan back up and waiting, and the 3-1 pitch coming up. Kershaw's a hopper, flagged by Furcal, bounces it to Hudson, and they get a force play at second base. Wonderful play by Rafael Furcal to take one deep in the hole and bounce it back to Orlando Hudson just in time to get a force play on Casey McGee. Furcal could not have made any play at all at first base. McGee, meanwhile, went into the bag and then a rolling block to make sure that Hudson wouldn't try for 2, and he took Orlando right out of the play with a legitimate slide. Big play by Furcal to really help Kershaw get over the hump, and a gutsy play by Hudson to hold his ground at second base. So now the batter is Prince Fielder. Fielder hitting .305, 26 home runs, 93 runs batted in. Kind of takes your breath away to see that. 93, and the big left-hand hitter takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Prince Fielder, 2 years ago, the youngest player in Major League history to hit 50 home runs in a season, breaking the record of Willie Mays. Big guy waits, and the strike 1 pitch on the way. That's high and outside. Prince is big, all right. He's 5'11", somewhere around 260 pounds. His dad really got on him when he reached 300 pounds. He got it down to about 250 to 260, and that's where he is right now. 1-1 pitch on the way is swung on and missed. High fastball, and he went after it. 1-2. Of course, you talk about Prince being big. They say he weighed almost 50 pounds when he was a year old. How'd you like to pick up a 50-pound 1-year-old? Well, his mom did. 1-2 the count to Prince. Kershaw ready, and the 1-2 pitch, runner going. It's strike 3 called. No pitch, no play, and it's all over. So Prince Fielder is called out on strikes. Ausmus threw the ball, but he didn't have to, and the inning was over. So no runs, no hits. Big play by inning on that play by Rafael Furcal. As it is, he made 17 pitches. Here's the Dodger lineup with Furcal, Ethier, and Ramirez, Casey Blake, Matt Kemp, and James Loney, Orlando Hudson, Brad Osmus, and Clayton Kershaw. On the mound for Milwaukee is the 26-year-old Manny Parra, P-A-R-R-A, born in Sacramento, lives in Citrus Heights, and went to American River Junior College. He was really racked up in June. In one game against the Marlins, he gave up 10 runs and 11 hits, so they sent him down to Nashville, and now he's back and facing Rafael Furcal. The left-hander's first pitch is low, ball one, 1-0 the count. In talking to those who have been following closely the development of Manny Parra, he's a kid who throws up around 94, pitches down and away, 2 balls and no strikes, and for whatever reason decided to change his game. Suddenly he was throwing curveballs, splitters, changeups, and not using his fastball at all. Big one-hopper banged at third. Casey McGee is right there to throw him out. So for call, a hopper to third, and we have one away. So when they sent Parra down to Nashville, the first thing they said to him down there, look, you're trying to be too much of a cutesy pie, trying to throw changes and splitters. Use that fastball. You got a dandy. And they say he's really turned himself around, and he is 2-0 in his last couple of outings. So Manny Parra, who at one time 2 years ago in AAA pitched a perfect game, so he has great ability. Working now on Andre Ethier, and Parra's fastball is low and inside, ball one. On the road trip, Ethier hit 300. He had a couple of home runs. He leads the team with 22. He leads the team with 67 runs batted in. The 1-0 pitch to Andre is pulled foul. When you ask Ethier why suddenly the power, and he says two things. Number one, he's a little more mature, a little stronger than he was in the past. And number two, as a left-hand hitter, his hand will come off the bat in his swing. He really releases the bat. He takes a pitch outside, ball two, 2-1. Brings back memories of Charlie Lau and the way he had to throw the bat. So that's what Ethier does. His top hand, his left hand will come off the bat, and that gives him a big full follow-through swing. He checks on a pitch low, ball three, 3-1. So put it all together, maturity, a little stronger, and a quick release, and he has 22 home runs, 67 runs batted in. Andre waiting in the 3-1 pitch. He swings and lifts a fly ball to deep left field, but Ryan Braun is there and makes the catch. I don't know if we have that swing on tape or not, but boy, you could see the hand come off on that swing. So Andre, a long fly ball to left. Take a look on TV. As the pitch comes, the right hand is the bottom hand, and then you can see the left hand come off, and he pulls the bat completely around. That's the follow through that he's been talking about. And going the other way, he hit a pretty long fly ball. So 2 down in the first inning, and now Manny Ramirez, who has been very quiet of late. Parra's fastball is low and inside, ball one. Quiet is a euphemism, I guess, for the fact that he hit 172 on the road trip, and in his last 9 games, hitting just 162. The 1-0 pitch to Manny, and that's a strike, outside corner at the knees, 1 ball and 1 strike. Manny, of course, hit on the hand, although Joe Torre says the hand is not bothering him. His mechanics are messed up. 1-1 pitch on the way. He promptly line drives it, and it goes under the glove of Ryan Braun to the wall, and Manny is going into second base. He will turn and hold. A sinking line drive to left field. Ryan Braun tried to backhand the sinker, and he came up empty. So in that case, Braun played a single into a double, and Casey Blake will be coming up. Braun also had a miscue. That was not an error, but he also played a ball poorly that cost Milwaukee a game very recently. That time trying to backhand it, couldn't do it. And Ramirez gets himself a double. For Manny, he did hit the ball hard. So a 2-out double brings up Casey Blake. Casey Blake had a very solid road trip. He had 440, 11 for 25. Overall batting average 286. Parra set, ready, and Manny delivers. Fastball on the outside corner. Casey Blake with 12 home runs, 59 runs batted in. So at third base tonight we have Casey Blake and Casey McGee. Ramirez at second with 2 out. Parra out of a stretch. Left-hander ready, and the strike one pitch, another strike, and the count 0-2. Last year, left-handers hit only 233 against him, but right-handers hit 288 with 14 home runs. So Casey trying to put a dent in him. The Dodgers are 18-11 against left-hand starters, 9-5 at home. Strike two pitch on the way to Casey Blake. Parra set, ready, comes and misses low and inside. Ball one. 1-2. If you compare the two pitching staffs in just one area, there's quite a difference. In home runs allowed, the Dodgers staff has given up 79. The Brewers have given up 141. 1-2 the count to Casey Blake. Ramirez a line drive double. Dodgers have won 5 straight series against Milwaukee. We've told you they've beaten them 19 out of 25 here. They've beaten them 6 of the last 8 meetings, 3 of the last 4. 1-2 pitch on the way, and that's in the dirt. Nice save by Mike Rivera, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Manny Parra, good size, 6'3", 200-pounder. He enrolled at American River Junior College and committed to UCLA, but the Brewers signed him instead on the last day to sign a draft and follow before the player would go back into the pack, and he got a high bonus, well over $1 million. Parra set, and his 2-2 pitch to Casey Blake. Fastball fouled off. For Parra, among other things, going back about 5 years, he was rated the 4th best prospect. Then he drifted back to 13. Then before 07, he went all the way back to the 18th best. But then he started to really pick up, and last year, before spring training, he was back again to being the number 2 prospect, and he went 10-8. 2-2 pitch on the way, and Casey Blake gets a ground ball to short. Hardy is up with it. J.J. throws him out. So the Dodgers have a 2-out double by Ramirez, but they lead him. And at the end of an inning, as Parra walks off, Brewers nothing, Dodgers top of the second inning, the Dodgers and the Brewers, game one of the three-game series. Tomorrow night, it'll be Yovani Gallardo against Hiroki Kuroda, and then Braden Looper and Jason Schmidt in the final game of the series. Mike Cameron will start it off, then J.J. Hardy and Bill Hall. Clayton Kershaw into the windup. Cameron, right-hand hitting center fielder, takes a strike. He has 15 home runs, 45 RBIs. Mike hitting .255, an outstanding defensive center fielder. Cameron swings and pops it up into shallow center. Matt Kemp walks in under it, waiting and waiting, makes the catch one-handed. So Cameron a fly ball, and we have one away, and J.J. Hardy coming up. So Cameron didn't hang around very well. So here is J.J. Hardy, the shortstop. Did not play yesterday. He was rested, but normally he's in that lineup just about every day. So Hardy waiting, and Kershaw's first pitch, and that's a little low. 1 ball and no strikes. The next pitch by Kershaw is swung on and foul back out of play. That will carry in the second deck. That's fastball alley directly behind home. 1 ball and 1 strike. J.J. Hardy. The J.J. stands for James Jerry, but he's been J.J. I think all of his life. Out of Tucson and still lives there. The 1-1 pitch, breaking ball, inside ball 2-1. For Hardy, he was a rabid baseball fan growing up. His close buddy was Robin Yount's brother, actually his son. Pitch foul back. And growing up in Arizona, among other things, J.J. attended the first game ever played by Arizona back in 1998. He was also there behind home plate for Game 7 of the 2001 World Series when the D-backs beat the Yankees. He takes off speed and high. Ball 3-2. So not only a fan, but a rabid ball player as he faces Clayton Kershaw. 3-2 the count. Kershaw ready and comes back low, ball 4. He's fighting it a little bit. His second walk, and the batter will be Bill Hall. Kershaw, as we mentioned, saved in the first inning. A great play by Rafael Furcal. So here's Bill Hall. Because baseball is such a tough game, and it's one of the oldest expressions in the game. It's one thing to get to the big leagues, it's another to stay there. And for Bill Hall, who had some outstanding years for Milwaukee, suddenly this year he just couldn't seem to do anything and was sent back to Nashville. And the pitch is high, 1 ball and no strikes. Corey Hart, who figured to be playing in the outfield, he played Saturday night in San Diego. Didn't feel 100%, but he played. Got to the ballpark Sunday morning and felt miserable. The next thing you know, he was on the operating table and had his appendix removed. So they called Bill Hall up from Nashville. He fouls a pitch back out of play. And a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Bill Hall had as many as 35 home runs just a couple of years ago for the Brewers. Hit as high as .291, and yet there he was in Nashville. Great all-around athlete out of Nettleton, Mississippi. The 1-1 pitch on the way. That swung on, another high foul behind the plate, and that will go back into the crowd. 1-2 the count. Bill Hall, 29 years old. He'll be 30 a couple of days after Christmas. In high school, he played football, basketball, baseball, and ran track. He was a member of the state championship baseball team and went 4-4 in the state title game. So Bill waiting, right-hand hitter, and the next pitch is swung on and missed. A low fastball, and down he goes. So Hall, strikeout number 2. You know, here's a steal of a deal from 76 and the Dodgers. Thursday, you can buy 4 infield reserve level tickets for $76, compliments of 76. To purchase, visit Dodgers.com/steal and use promo code 76gas to save close to 40%. flip throw over to first. Back on the bag is Hardy. And with 2 out, the hitter is Mike Rivera. Hardy does not have a stolen base, but the Dodgers are going to hold the bag anyway as Mike Rivera checks in. And the first pitch of the right-hand hitting catcher is outside. 1 ball and no strikes. You've heard the term backup catcher. Well, Mike Rivera was a backup catcher to Jason Kendall. A backup catcher because last year Kendall started 149 games behind the plate. The 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball, low ball, 2-2-0. As Jason Kendall sits in the dugout taking in the action tonight. 149 starts. That would be the most in the major leagues in 26 years. So you talk about Russell Martin catching. You really have to look at Jason Kendall, even more so than Ivan Rodriguez and tonight's catcher for the Dodgers, Brad Ausmus. The pitch to Rivera swung on and missed. 2-1 the count. In fact, the Brewers used to call Mike Rivera the Maytag repairman because he just didn't get in any games. He wound up lucky enough to just have a few at-bats. Played winter ball and had more at-bats in winter ball than he had the entire year. Back up Kendall. Fouls the pitch back. And Mike now with a count 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's from Puerto Rico, but he lives in Florida. Signed by the Tigers originally as a free agent. Came up for the so-called cup of coffee in 2001. Played a little while in 02. Showed briefly with the Padres. And now here he is with the Brewers. The 2-2 pitch on the way is a low fastball. So Kershaw fighting a lot of 3-2 counts tonight. When Rivera last year piled up a total of 62 at-bats, he still managed to hit over 300, and he had a home run and 14 runs batted in. Hardy ready to go. There he goes, and the pitch is fouled away. So Mike Rivera getting a chance to start. 6'2", 220. And he will be 33 once we turn the corner in September. Of course, one thing catching every day, as it seemed like Kendall was doing. Jason last year hit only 202 in September. I mean, he was worn out. Fastball lifted into shallow left center. Kemp coming and calling and makes the catch. And that's that. No runs, no hits, man left. At the end of an inning and a half, no score. Loney, followed by Matt Kemp, and then Orlando Hudson. In fact, Matt Kemp is out there. Let's double check the lineup as the kids are taking a look. We have Loney followed by Kemp, but it looks like Kemp is going to come up. Oh, let's see. Yeah, Kemp is going to hit and then Loney. So Matt Kemp with a 5 RBI game tucked in. Made a lot of noise in that 9-1 victory last night in Atlanta. Of course, the Dodgers made a lot of noise in that game. They had 19 hits. And what had to be very pleasing to Joe Torre, 7 of the 9 runs the Dodgers scored last night came with 2 out. So here's Matt hitting .316, 14 home runs, 64 runs batted in, and takes low, ball 1, 1-0. On the road trip, he hit .333 and 9 runs batted in. Of course, he got 5 in a hurry last night. 1-0 pitch on the way, and Kemp pulls away. It's low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes. So Manny Parra in July in 4 starts, 2-0. Earned run average 3.5, where in the other months 7.5. Manny back with a pitch, line drive, grabbed by McGee at third base. So Matt Kemp, such a tough out now, just crushed the ball, and McGee just about in his tracks reached up to backhand it for the out. So 1 away, McGee with a big grin on his face. J.J. Hardy hollered something to him over at shortstop. So 1 away, and that'll bring up James Loney. Loney on the trip hit .364, and in last night's game went 3 for 6. Last 9 games, James is hitting close to .400, and he takes a strike. So 1 away, bottom of the 2nd inning, no score. Loney followed by Orlando Hudson. Manny Parra ready and comes back and works it low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. James second on the club, right behind Ethier with 66 runs batted in, and promptly slices a fly ball to left field. Ryan Braun comes over and makes the catch for the out. Ryan Braun was a third baseman, but he had a really tough time playing third. In fact, one year he made 26 errors at third base, but he has such a great bat that they just moved him to the outfield and let it go at that. So once in a while he's going to have some troubles out there, but you can understand. Orlando Hudson, the switch hitting second baseman, checks in, batting right-handed. Orlando hitting .292, 7 home runs, 51 runs batted in, takes a high fastball, ball 1. Orlando on the trip hit .259. Interesting that he hasn't gone back-to-back games without a hit since the Dodgers series in Milwaukee in June. The 1-0 pitch on the way, check swing. A look at first, swing, says Lance Barksdale, and a 1 ball, 1 strike count to Orlando. In breaking down Hudson's numbers, you find he's hitting .343 right-handed, .275 left-handed. 1-1 pitch on the way, Orlando takes high. 5 of his 7 home runs have been hit left-handed. Naturally, he sees more right-hand pitching. Since the All-Star break, Orlando is hitting right around .370. He swings, ground ball to third. McGee is on it, fires across, and that's that. A 1-2-3 inning for Manny Parra, thanks to that line drive captured by McGee off the bat of Kemp. And at the end of 2, no score. off. The pitcher will be followed by Felipe Lopez and then Casey McGee. Manny Parra, good hitter. Last year, he had 5 doubles. And the left-hand hitter takes the strike and the count 0-1. Parra last year hit .226. This year, he's just 2 for 26. He does have 2 RBIs, and he struck out about half the time. Takes another strike, and the count 0-2. So Parra, Lopez, and McGee in that order. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way, and that's a breaking ball down and away. 1-2 the count. Clayton Kershaw came in with a record of 8-5, and he is 1-0 against Milwaukee this year in lifetime. 1-2 pitch coming up, swung on and missed, and down goes Parra. That would be the 3rd strikeout for Clayton Kershaw, and the batter will be Felipe Lopez. We mentioned earlier that Bill Hall was called up because Corey Hart had his appendix removed. Dave Bush, who figures to be a solid part of the rotation, and Dave Bush is banged up. Bush was pitching against the Florida Marlins, and Hanley Ramirez hit a shot that caught him right on the forearm. So he's been out since the end of June, and they're hoping to get him back soon. Milwaukee 6 games back in the wild card. The next pitch to Lopez up and in, 1 ball and 1 strike. Colorado and the Giants are in a dead heat for the wild card. The Cubs are back by 2, Florida 3, Milwaukee 6, but the Giants just lost. Good curveball in for a strike, and the count 1-2. The Astros beat the Giants 4-3. Home runs by Jeff Blum and Kazuo Matsui. They beat Matt Cain. The 1-2 breaking ball is fouled back, though it is still 1-2 to Felipe Lopez. Lopez had been with Arizona, and in a deal in July had brought Lopez to Milwaukee. He takes low, 2-2 the count. Young kid out of the public housing projects in Bayamon in Puerto Rico. You may remember the story about this heavily tattooed young ball player. 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed, and down he goes. The fact that as a little kid in the Little League, his dad was his coach. But if he made an error, his dad physically abused him so that he had to eventually be raised by an uncle. There is quite a message in that, isn't there? First, the youngsters surviving all of that and making it to the big leagues. And a word of caution to parents who get carried away. So 2 out here in the 3rd inning, 4 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. And now Casey McGee. Spread eagle stance and grounds 1 foul outside of 3rd. 0-1 the count to Casey. Casey McGee, his first child is named McHale, M-A-C-K-A-I-L. A bounce breaking ball and a 1 ball 1 strike count. So that's a handful, isn't it? McHale McGee. And Will Oman, who is a teammate of McGee's at the Cubs, that you're going to call the youngster Double Mac. McHale McGee. 1 ball and 1 strike to Casey. Fastball, and that's low, ball 2, 2-1 the count. No score, top of the 3rd. Clayton Kershaw working on the young 3rd baseman. On deck, Ryan Braun. 2-1 pitch coming up, and McGee hits a little ground ball, a little English on it too, picked up by Hudson to throw him out, and that'll be that. So the Brewers go quietly, and at the end of 2.5 innings, no score. Catcher Brad Osmus, then Clayton Kershaw, and Rafael Furcal. So Osmus checking in. Brad right behind Jason Kendall in games caught in the big leagues, though he backs out after having had a little quick visit with Mike Rivera. Brad had 5 at-bats on the road trip and went 2 for 5. And Parra's first pitch, fastball strike, and the count 0-1. Started Thursday night against the Cardinals, went 2 for 5 with a run scored. And Brad has certainly made the most of his opportunities. Strike 1 pitch, ground ball up the middle, and Hardy can't get it. So Osmus comes up with a base hit. It means he has sit safely in 13 of the 17 starts he's had this year. You know, you can celebrate Korean Heritage Night at Dodger Stadium tomorrow night. Compliments of the Korea Times. The festivities include a unique seating option, includes a free Dodger Town Korea t-shirt, all-inclusive Korean menu. For tickets, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com/sit-in-my-town. All right, here's Kershaw. We'll see if he's bunting. He shows bunt, takes a strike, and the count 0-1. So Brad Osmus grounding one up the middle. Torrey to Boa, and Boa perhaps flashing the sign to Kershaw. Among other things, Clayton has a half a dozen sacrifices. Randy Wolf, Chad Billingsley each have 7. Now the strike 1 pitch, he shows bunt, pulls the bat back, and the breaking ball off the plate. No swing, says Angel Hernandez, coaching and umpiring at third. 1-1 the count to Clayton. Left-hand hitting pitcher against a left-hand pitcher, and Parra out of a stretch. The 1-1 pitch, he's not showing bunt. Now he does. Tries to bunt, fouls it back, and the count 1-2. Though we'll see about Torrey whether he puts the bunt on again with 2 strikes. Dodgers have had something else going besides a bunt against Milwaukee. They've had at least 1 home run in 8 straight games against the Brewers. Kershaw's not sure of the sign, though he'll double check with Larry Boa. And now he's going to triple check. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Clayton back up to the plate. No score. Bottom of the third. Nobody out. Osmus has just singled up the middle. Parra hands it aside. Casey McGee in on the grass at third. And the left-hand pitcher ready. And Manny's 1-2 pitch, a full swing foul off third. That'll carry back into the stands. And the count remains 1-2. So again, they go through the same scene. Kershaw staring at Boa. Somewhere along the line there's a message in there, to bunt or not to bunt. Aye, that is the question. All right, Clayton back up. Parra out of a stretch. Osmus off the bag at first. The 1-2 pitch on the way. A full swing foul. That carries to the second deck off to the left. Way off back of left field. A crimson sky with the palm trees outlined against it. Boy, what a sight that is. Beautiful time of evening. Not quite 8 o'clock. And beautiful weather. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up. Full swing and a slow dribbler back to the box. And fires play high throw, and the full fielder off the bag. The easiest of plays, and Manny Parra throws high. And if it's high to fielder, it is very high. And for Ken Maka, that is not what he expected. So the Dodgers get a bonus. Not only don't they get the bunt, but they wind up getting an error and runners at first and second with nobody out. It's amazing, a guy who can stand on a mound 60 feet 6 inches away from home plate, throw 94 miles an hour for a strike, can't just field a ball on the grass in front of the mound and throw accurately to the first baseman. But a lot of times when you ask a pitcher to do something other than pitch, you're asking a lot. So 2 on, nobody out. Let's see what Furcal does. Batting right-handed. He's swinging. Ground ball to the hole. Base hit into left field. Charging is Braun. Here comes Osmus. He will score, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. Rafael Furcal, a ground single in the left field just by a diving J.J. Hardy. Braun's throw pretty much on the money. However, the run was in as Osmus had a good jump. And the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. So the error didn't really set up the run in the sense that even if he had made the play to first base, Osmus still would have been safely aboard at second to score. So Rafael Furcal drives in his 31st run, and Furcal, who had hit .333 on the road trip, has already made a scintillating defensive play in the first inning on the ball hit by Ryan Braun. Meanwhile, Manny Parra tried to have his feathers smoothed down a little bit by the pitching coach, Bill Castro. And here now is Andre Ethier, fly deep to left in the first inning. 1-0 Dodgers, bottom of the third. Ethier with his 67 runs batted in. Parra delivers, and a breaking ball off the plate, ball one, 1-0. Andre off a solid road trip, and for that matter, a solid year. 22 home runs, 67 runs batted in. The pitch to Andre, he lays off a slow breaking ball off the plate. 2 balls and no strike. So for Manny Parra, the biggest thing right now is to try and get over his throwing error. I mean, you have to have a good memory, but there are times when you have to have a bad memory and forget about it. 2-0, the count to Ethier. 2 on, nobody out, and a run in. Parra delivers, fastball hit to short. Hardy back to his second baseman for one. A bounce throw to first in time. Felipe Lopez, bothered perhaps by a charging Furcal, but he made the play. So on the double play, Kershaw advances to third as Hardy is able to get it, and Lopez is able to turn it. Nice play by Prince Fielder at the other end of it, and that will bring up Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez hit a hard sinking line drive to left field. Ryan Braun tried to charge and backhand it before it hit the grass, and he came up with a glove full of empty, and the ball went all the way to the wall for a double. So Manny hitting .313. Parra out of a stretch, and the left-hander's fastball a strike outside corner. Same way he started him off in the first inning. 0-1 the count to Ramirez. As we mentioned earlier, Joe Torre said that Manny's hand is okay. It's not bothering him. Strike one pitch on the way. Another fastball grounded to the right side to Lopez, and that'll be that. So he gave him 2 pitches, exact same spot to get him. However, the Dodgers get a run on a couple of hits and an error, and at the end of 3 lead the Brewers. one in Trevor, and maybe someday Jonathan Broxton. But Trevor's a cinch. Clayton Kershaw is leading 1-0. Interesting pattern in the first 3 innings. He has struck out 4, but his curveball has not been effective, although every time he throws it, it makes the hitter think about it. He's thrown 11 curveballs, and 9 have missed the strike zone. And yet, pretty much on 1 pitch in 3 innings, the Brewers are still hitless. So Ryan Braun will start it off. Then it'll be Prince Fielder and Mike Cameron. Braun, as we mentioned, 92 home runs in a period of 3 years. Big curveball, but that missed. Ball 1. Most home runs first 3 seasons, Pujols and Ralph Kiner, 114. Eddie Matthews, 112. Teixeira and DiMaggio, 107. Fly ball to shallow left. A little bit of a late start by Ramirez, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. Man, he started to rock back on the fly ball, thinking it was hit harder, and the ball dropped in. So Ryan Braun, fly ball single to left field. Man, he tried to recover but couldn't get there. In fact, for call at shortstop went out, and he was almost closer than Manning. So there's hit number 1, and Prince Fielder coming up. Prince Fielder struck out in the first inning. So the big boy up there with a chance to hurt, batting .304. 93 runs batted in. And he lifts a towering fly ball to right. Ethier has a play. Tagging up at first is Braun, but it's too late as Andre gets it quickly back in. So Fielder just missed getting enough of that. Fly ball to right, 1 down.
Center fielder Mike Cameron.
So Fielder's somewhat frustrated as he walks the length of the dugout. And Mike Cameron checking in. Mike Cameron, of course, had a player's dream. He hit 4 home runs in a game. It was the 15th 4 home run game. But there was a first about that, breaking ball strike. It was the first time in Major League history 2 players homered consecutively in the same inning twice. Brett Boone followed his home runs after Cameron hit his first 2. 0-1 the count. Of course, there's a downside to a guy who hits a lot of home runs. I'm sure you know that. They can also pay a price. And Cameron also paid a price. He's only the 5th player in Major League history to strike out 5 times in 1 game. Mike waiting, 0-1 the count. Little frisky Ryan Braun over there drawing throws. He has stolen 9 out of 13. So Ryan at first, Cameron with his team down 1-0, trying to get him around. Fastball missed, 1-1. Cameron, 36 years old, was originally signed by the White Sox. Went from the White Sox to the Reds. He always admired Eric Davis. He couldn't get number 44 when he went to the Reds, but he did get number 4. Fastball misses, ball 2. And then Cameron talking to Eric and telling him about how he really loved the way he played. And Davis said, you know, you can wear 44 just as long as you really give it your best shot, which is what Cameron did. He had 21 home runs that year, 66 RBIs for the Reds. Now Kershaw, who's already had a few 3-2 counts, goes 3-1 to Cameron. 1-0 Dodgers, top of the fourth. Braun at first with 1 out. And that's inside, ball 4. So Kershaw has struck out 4. He has walked 3. And the batter now will be J.J. Hardy.
Batting at shortstop, number 7, J.J. Hardy.
So Hardy in his spot to pick somebody up. He has 11 home runs, 45 runs batted in. Off speed, little bender, but dropped inside, so Osmus going out. 1 ball and no strikes. For J.J. Hardy, his dad, Mark, a former professional tennis player, played on the ATP Tour, and his mom once played on the LPGA. She was ranked, we understand, right behind Nancy Lopez when she was in college. But his mom wound up with perhaps carpal tunnel syndrome and a nerve disorder in her hands, and he had to give up her golf career. He has an older brother, a scratch golfer, so there's a lot of good athletes in the Hardy family. And the fastball strike, 1-1. J.J. was on the U.S. team for the Futures game back in '03. That's usually a mark of somebody who's on his way to the big leagues. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ball 2. Coming into the inning, Kershaw had made 48 pitches in 3 innings. That would be 16 pitches an inning. And that's about his average, isn't it? 2-1. And he's behind 3-1. Clayton is leading 1-0 in the 4th inning. Coming into the game, he had 117 strikeouts and 65 walks. Three and 1 to Hardy, who walked in the 2nd inning. And ball 4, and that thing was really high. So all of a sudden the bases are loaded with 1 out. Rick Honeycutt going out there to try and help him, and Bill Hall will be coming up. Of all the pitches that Kershaw made, he's bounced his curveball and he's been missing low and inside or down and away. That's really the first time he was so high with a pitch, and that brought Honeycutt out in a hurry. So Bill Hall just called up from Nashville. In fact, he played a doubleheader yesterday, played right field. Normally, Bill Hall played a lot of third base. Then they decided to make him an outfielder. First 2 games he ever played in the outfield was yesterday. And after playing 18 innings in right field, he's playing right field in a major league game tonight for the first time. So Bill checking in. A couple of years ago, the Baseball Writers Association, the Milwaukee chapter, voted him the most valuable player for the Brewers. He takes ball 1. He also received the Good Guy Award. 1 ball and no strikes. Bill Hall in his career has 2 grand slams. And ball 2. So Clayton is completely out of rhythm. There's no 2 ways about it. Trying to pull himself together. Trying to find that same release point. So Braun, Cameron, and Hardy all out there. And that's high, ball 3. Dodgers lead 1-0, but it certainly looks like a temporary or short-lived lead, as he goes 3-0 to Hall with 1 out. Mike Rivera, the catcher, is on deck. 3-0. And it's inside to force over the run. That's the 3rd walk in the inning, plus the base hit. So Kershaw struggling. Walks 3 in the inning. He has now walked 5 in the game with his 4 strikeouts. And Mike Rivera, the seldom used catcher, coming up. One away, bases loaded. Rivera a chance to get his club out in front now. They have Cameron at 3rd, Hardy at 2nd, Hall at 1st. Jeff Weaver gets up in the Dodger bullpen, and Kershaw out of a stretch. And misses with the fastball. Ball 1. So earlier we mentioned that he wasn't getting his curveball over. Now he's relying on the fastball, and he's struggling with that. One ball and no strikes. Fastball, and Rivera almost fell down. His back foot skidded on him. He does not have a grand slam. Watch him slip and slide. That's the way to break a right ankle. Goes on his toes, then he comes down on the foot and turns it inside out. Lucky he didn't get hurt. 1 ball, 1 strike. And missed again. 21 and getting older. That's Clayton Kershaw in this inning. 3 walks plus a leadoff single for a run, and the game tied 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. Fastball hit late and foul, out of play. 2-2. Beautiful summer's evening. The temperature in the 80s when the game started. Very comfortable. Not a breath of air. Look at the flags in center field hanging limply. 2-2 the count to Mike Rivera. And missed inside with the fastball. So another 3-ball count for Clayton. Trying to pitch his way out of the trouble. Three and 2. 1 out, bases loaded. Very high and away, ball 4. So that's 4 consecutive walks plus a base hit. He has walked 6 in 3 1/3 innings. It is now 2-1 Brewers as everybody moved up. Cameron walked in the run. Hardy goes to 3rd. Hall to 2nd. Rivera picks up a run batted in. He goes to 1st. And the batter now is Manny Parra. I've always thought if I were a manager in a spot like this, I would not let my pitcher swing. That's a strike. What is the worst thing he could do? Well, if Ken lets him swing and he hits into a double play, that's it. If he just stands there, even if he strikes out, you get Felipe Lopez up with the bases loaded. 0-2. But then there's always a miracle, like Jason Schmidt coming off the bench as a pinch hitter and getting a base hit up the middle. All right, 0-2, fouled away. Dodger infield in double play depth. The Brewers have 2 runs on 1 hit. It was the leadoff single to left field on a ball that might have been caught. Came off the bat of Ryan Braun. And then 4 walks with 1 out. 0-2 to Parra. Foul back. Parra, as we mentioned in his first at bat, pretty good hitter last year, hit .226. 0-2. Change, but it stayed up. Little teeny break on it. That's another old expression in baseball. You never change up on a pitcher unless he's a pretty good hitter. So that one pitch is a tribute to Parra. This will be the 30th pitch total for Kershaw. All right, Parra strikes out, but he could have done a lot worse because the inning is still alive and the batter is Felipe Lopez. 6 walks and 5 strikeouts. Now Lopez, who has 4 career grand slams, grounded to second and struck out. He's got Hardy, Hall, and Rivera out on the lines. Slow breaking ball for a strike. That was in the 60s. So at third, J.J. Hardy. At second, Bill Hall. At first, Mike Rivera. Fouled away. So now Kershaw has a little room to go after the hitter. No balls and 2 strikes instead of being pitching behind all the time. Oh and 2. Got him. So Kershaw winds up striking out Parra and Lopez. Joe gives him a round of applause. A small fries and a small drink for just $2.99. And by Hankook Tires. Tame the road with Hankook Tires. Brewers take a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. For Clayton Kershaw, a painful inning. He not only walked the house, he made 34 pitches and puts the Dodgers behind. So Casey Blake, Matt Kemp, and James Loney coming up. Half a dozen walks for the 21-year-old. He has struck out 5. High fly ball into shallow right. Lopez out. Hall in. Bill Hall. 1 away.
Dodger center fielder, number 27, Matt Kemp.
Matt Kemp will be coming up. Hit that bullet that was flagged by Casey McGee in the 2nd inning. Two runs on 1 hit for the Brewers. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Matt hitting .314. His 14 home runs, 64 runs batted in. Coming into the game, Matt was just 1 for 6 against Parra, so he's 1 for 7. And he also struck out 3 of the 6 at bats prior to tonight. One and one. One and two. Two to one Brewers, bottom of the fourth, one away. Chopper to third, nice pick there by McGee. 2 down here in the fourth inning, and James Loney will be coming up. Remember the trivia question had to do with Trevor Hoffman and the fact that he has 577 saves on his way to Cooperstown. But who are the only 5 relievers in the Hall of Fame? There they are. Hoyt Wilhelm, who was a fantastic knuckleballer. Raleigh Fingers, Bruce Sutter, Dennis Eckersley, and Goose Gossage. Loney flied to left field in the second inning. James 0 for 1 now hits one into left field for a base hit. So Loney hitting .290 will add up a couple of points. Going the other way, and the batter will be Orlando Hudson.
Second baseman, number 13, Orlando Hudson.
So the Dodgers have 4 hits and 1 run, and the Brewers have 1 hit for 2 runs. And here's Orlando, grounded to third in the second inning. Dodgers playing the Central Division, and it has been a struggle. The Dodgers have played 21 games against the Central. They are 11 and 10. Though once the Joe and the Dodgers have stepped out of the West, it's really a battle, which brings up the importance of the wild card. At the start of the day, the Rockies and the Giants were dead even, and the Giants lost tonight. Rockies not scheduled. Line drive and a great pick by Mike Cameron. Gold glove out there many times, and Mike picks it off. So no runs a hit, a man left, and at the end of 4, 2-1 Milwaukee. By the gentleman, And that just really broke up the crowd. Nothing breaking up Clayton Kershaw right now except the inability to throw strikes. So he's going to try and turn his act around in the 5th inning. It'll be Casey McGee, Ryan Braun, and then Big Prince Fielder. And ball 1. McGee walked and grounded out. Casey 0 for 1. 2-0 the count. Casey went to Fresno State, drafted in the 10th round by the Cubs. Earlier, he had a sore left ankle, fouled a pitch off, and sat out a couple. That was back in June. When Casey was at Fresno State, he was a very solid defensive third baseman. But there are those who think maybe he should catch. He hadn't done that, but he can play third, second, spot of the outfield, and first base. 2-2. Two and 2 to McGee, hitting .317, 9 home runs, 34 runs batted in. Strokes it into center for a base hit. To McGee, a leadoff single. And Ryan Braun, who led off the 4th inning with a single, coming up.
Next, left fielder Ryan Braun.
2 runs on 2 hits for the Brewers. They needed a lot of cooperation. And cooperation, the definition would be a half a dozen walks. Ryan, Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, just did win out over Troy Tulowitzki. That's a strike. In May of last year, Ryan Braun agreed to the largest contract in Milwaukee Brewers history, an 8-year deal that runs through 2015. Hitting .311, he has 21 home runs. 70 runs batted in, foul back. Of course, everybody knew that Ryan Braun could hit, even in high school. Hit .451, one of those things. He was also a star soccer player. Then he went to the University of Miami as a business major, and his business was hitting baseballs. He broke Pat Burrell's school freshman record. And hard ground ball, base hit up the middle. And that was on an 0-2 pitch. Make no mistake about it, Clayton Kershaw is struggling tonight. And with 2 on and nobody out, the big man, Prince Fielder, coming up, and Jeff Weaver is up again. Fielder struck out in the 1st inning and hit a towering fly ball to right that Ethier caught. That was in the 4th. Two on, nobody out. 2-1 Brewers. Checked, and that's a strike. Now remember, he was 0-2, and he gave up the base hit to Braun. Fielder, 26 home runs, 93 runs batted in. And goes the other way, but so did McGee. And on the base hit, McGee was going back to second base. So he had no chance to score. 3 consecutive singles, and the bases are loaded for Mike Cameron.
Number 25, Mike Cameron.
So they had the bases loaded with walks helping in the 4th inning. Now 3 consecutive singles load him up. Here comes Joe, and I think that'll do it for Clayton. After that magnificent outing against the St. Louis Cardinals, where he went 8 scoreless innings, he hits in the bump of the road tonight. Though in pursuit of his 9th win, it was not to be. He's in the 5th, losing 2-1, and all part of the growing process, and we'll be back. His books, if nothing else, with 6 strikeouts, but he also walked 6, and he goes out where he is begging Jeff Weaver to extricate him from a dismal situation. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Weaver will be pitching to Mike Cameron, J.J. Hardy, and Bill Hall. Now, Mike Cameron, coming up for Milwaukee, has 5 grand slams in his career. The last one he hit was right here. Cameron hit a grand slam home run 2 years ago against the Dodgers and Derek Lowe, though he has McGee, Braun, and Fielder out there as he checks in at the plate. Hitting .250 against Weaver. Foul ball. 0-1. Cameron getting a little bit on the foot, so timeout for the moment. Got him up the toes of the left foot. 0-1 the count to Mike. And the plate umpire, Marvin Hudson, cleans off home plate just to give Mike a little extra time. Cameron was traded from the White Sox to the Reds for Paul Konerko, who at one time was in the Dodger organization. And Cameron was so dismayed, more than that, he was crushed over being traded. And that's when he and his wife went to Jamaica to just get away from everything. And he decided to rebuild himself, just change his way of thinking. And the first thing he did was shave his head. That was back in 1998, and he's never had a hair on his head since. He has survived the trade. He has a foundation, Cam for Kids. Ball 2. Also for Mike Cameron as he faces Jeff Weaver. Would you believe he is co-written with noted children's book author Greg Brown? He has a book for kids titled It Takes a Team. 2-1 to Mike Cameron. And ball 3. You may remember that Mike Cameron was in a horrific collision in the outfield with Carlos Beltran. Beltran got away with a sore shoulder, and Cameron's face was just busted up. Three and 1 to Mike. 3-2. For Cameron, he's in a distinguished club. He has 256 home runs. He has 293 stolen bases. So he's the 20th member of the 250-250 club. And a bunch of gold gloves. 3-2 with the bases loaded and nobody out. 2-1 Brewers. Ground ball down to Furcal for 1-2. Scoring is McGee, and the Brewers lead 3-1. But the Dodgers trying to stop the bleeding and turn the double play.
Coming to play, shortstop, J.J. Hardy.
And now J.C. Hardy coming up. Hardy has walked twice, each at bat, however, against Kershaw. And trying to pick up Ryan Braun from third base. Ball one. Jeff Weaver trying to bail out Clayton Kershaw and gets the double play. So Braun at third, 2 out, 3-1 Brewers. Could be a lot worse. 2-0 the count to Hardy. So for Clayton Kershaw, he is charged with 3 runs and certainly hoping in his heart that that's enough. Weaver behind 2-0. He has 3 wild pitches. That's a sidearm strike. 2-1. So the Brewers have 6 walks and 4 hits, but only 3 runs. So they're certainly not making the most of the opportunities. 2-1. In the dirt. Nice save by Ausmus. Ball 3. Ryan Braun all alone at third now. 3-1 to count to J.J. Hardy, who has 45 runs batted in, and that's ball 4. So 7 walks given to the Brewers, and yet they only have 3 runs. Bill Hall coming up has struck out and walked. So first and third with 2 out. Three runs, 4 hits for the Brewers. 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. That is the pitch that sent Bill Hall back to the minors. Slider away. He has been unable to hit it. I mean, he can wear out some left-handers, but he's just falling into a trap. Cannot hit that slider. And another strike. 0-2. That's got to be maddening. After all, he's got to think back to his big years. MVP year for the Brewers in 06. 35 home runs. How in the world did I lose my ability to hit a slider from a right-hander? When they sent him out, he was hitting 201. He's now hitting 200. 0-2. There goes the runner on a fastball, and a hopper fielded by Hudson, who just did get him at first. So with all of that, the Brewers managed to score 1. Joe goes over to console his young left-hander. You got to feel that you should have at least twice as many runs to work with. But instead of at least 6-1, it's only 3-1. And he's working on Brad Ausmus, and ball one. Brad singled up the middle in the third inning. That's amazing. 5th game in over a month. Of course, we told you about Mike Rivera, the catcher, who had 60 at-bats in an entire year. And he's in the starting role tonight. Meanwhile, Russell Martin rests tonight. Jason Kendall does the same over in the Brewers dugout. 1-1. Hard ground ball to McGee. 1 away. Jeff Weaver will be coming up. It's 3-1 Brewers in the 5th.
36, Jeff Weaver.
Remember, the Dodgers have beaten Milwaukee 19 out of 25 here at Dodger Stadium. That goes back to 2001. Weaver with the bat has had 9 at-bats and he has 3 hits. Ball one. And ball two. In looking at Parra's numbers, came in with 78 strikeouts, 53 walks. So far in the game, no walks, no strikeouts. That's a strike. 2-1. Parra has a lot of pitches. Fastball, a cutter, curveball, splitter, and a change. But he has learned to throw a lot more fastballs and all the other stuff. Took a trip to the minors for him to be convinced. One fastball after another. That takes care of Weaver. That's his first strikeout, and the batter will be Rafael Furcal.
Rafael Furcal.
Furcal grounded to third in the first inning, single to left to drive in Ausmus in the third. Made a wonderful defensive play to take a base hit away from Ryan Braun in the first inning. Furcal hitting .265. He has 5 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Right. And he tried to bunt at it. 0-2. Big bouncer foul. Still 0-2. Furcal had a fine road trip. Among other things, he had an 11-game hitting streak, and then he came up dry on Saturday. One and two. During the streak, what made it so important, not so much of the streak, but he scored 8 runs. And he's hit safely in 15 of his last 17 games. Big bouncer by McGee. Casey McGee appears to be all over the place, making another nice play. And at the end of 5, 3-1. that on this day in 1980, Edwin Duke Snyder went into the Hall of Fame. He was a brilliant player. He just didn't have the room to roam in Ebbets Field that Mays had in the Polo Grounds and Mantle had at Yankee Stadium. But what a trio to talk about and to argue about. Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Let's go back to this one. Brewers leading 3-1 as we go to the 6th inning. Good off-speed slider. And Mike Rivera way out in front of it. Catcher is fly to center and walked. Oh and 1. That's a strike. 0 and 2. Three runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Brewers. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. 0 and 2. Ball 1. Tomorrow night, it'll be Gallardo and Kuroda. And then the concluding game of the series, Braden Looper and Jason Schmidt. And then a 4-game series with Atlanta starting Thursday night. 1 and 2. So it's one slider after another, and that'll do it for Mike Rivera. For Weaver, he picks up a strikeout. So the Brewers have walked 7 times. They've also struck out 7 times. And here is Manny Parra, who struck out twice against Kershaw. Might be a better hitter against a right-hander. Fastball. Of course, Parra struck Weaver out on fastballs in the 5th inning. 0 and 1. And a breaking ball strike. 0 and 2. That didn't have the velocity of his slider. A little more like a curve. The crowd reacting to something out there in right center field, but we have no idea what's going on. And apparently someone is out of order and will pay the price and be ejected. Not worth looking at. 1 and 2 the count. Fastball, and it's going to be a dunker into left field. So Parra, who had 5 doubles last year and hit .226, hurt his left hand a little bit as he slaps it into left field. And the batter will be Felipe Lopez. 1 pitch, 1 swing, 4 runs, 56,000 memories. Yep. Manny's grand slam on bobblehead night, one to remember. And the first 20,000 fans this Wednesday can commemorate his heroics with a limited edition Manny Wood poster presented by KLOS. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or give us a call, 866-DODGERS. Manny will be hitting behind Ethier in the bottom of the inning. And a strike to Lopez. Switch hitter, batting left-handed now. Grounded out, struck out twice against Kershaw. Lopez has done his hitting left-handed. So you look at a .301 batting average, but batting left-handed, he's hitting .349. One ball, 1 strike. 1 and 2. Earlier we were talking about the fact Colorado and the Giants began the day tied for first in the race for the wild card. And remember the rules. The rules are if the wild card comes from your division, you can't play the wild card if you won the division. So that would mean if the Dodgers win the National League West, and they certainly look like they've got a great shot at it, if they don't play either Colorado or San Francisco, well, then they could open up against the leaders either in the East or in the Central, if the Giants or the Rockies wind up with a wild card. Behind them, you have the Cubs trailing by 2, Florida by 3, and Milwaukee still with an outside chance, 6 back. So Parra at first, 1 out, 3-1 Brewers, top of the 6th. 2-2. Fly ball to left, Manny going back. And holding at first is Parra. And the batter will be Casey McGee. Casey hitting .321, 9 home runs, 34 runs batted in. Has walked, grounded out, and singled. 1 for 2. Fastball away. 1 ball and no strikes. Gallardo and Kuroda tomorrow night. Looper and Schmidt Wednesday night. Jason talking to Randy Wolf right now. That's a strike. 1-1. Brewers 3 runs, 5 hits. Dodgers 1 run, 4 hits. Off the plate. And we're in the 6th inning. Dodgers scored in the 3rd, and then Clayton Kershaw just couldn't find the strike zone. Gave up 2 in the 4th and another in the 5th. Squirted foul. 2-2. Nice crowd on hand tonight as well. A Monday night. Dodgers are averaging over 44,000 a game, and it certainly looks like they're going to reach 2,300,000 tonight. 2-2. Fastball on the hands, and he's strong enough to muscle it into center. So McGee comes up with his 2nd hit, and that will bring up Ryan Braun. Braun came up with a runner on in the 1st inning and lost a base hit on a highlight play by Rafael Furcal. Then he led off the 4th inning with a single to left on a fly ball that certainly was debatable. It looks like it might have been caught if Manny had not leaned back and gotten a better jump. And then Braun in the 5th inning, single to center. The interesting note, or certainly one of many, about Ryan Braun is his mom. She was a marathoner, and she really is a Brewer. And he really is a big gun for the Brewers. I mean, he hit that thing to Milwaukee. And it is 6-1 Brewers. 22nd home run for Ryan Braun, and the 93rd home run in 3 years. So the Brewers finally get a clutch hit, and it's a bomb by Ryan Braun. 6-1 in favor of Milwaukee, and that thing was really hit. So Braun got 5s in the dugout. 93 home runs in 3 years, and he still has almost 2 months left. Yeah, we mentioned his mom is a brewer. She makes beer for Anheuser-Busch. Oh, and 1 the count at the plate to Prince Fielder. You know, another thing about Ryan Braun, talking about his first year, 2007, his slugging percentage was the highest for a rookie in Major League history. So he really broke in with a bang. So Jeff Weaver is severely burned here in the 6th inning, and it is 6-1 Milwaukee. Way inside. 3-1 the count to Prince Fielder. And with his 26 home runs and 93 runs batted in, I'm sure Maka will green light him if he likes the location, getting a pitch he can drive. Taken all the way. 3-2. Ground ball to the hole. Up with it is Loney. Hangs it for Weaver. But the damage is done. 2 singles and the long home run by Ryan Braun. Local boy comes back to do good. And the Brewers lead 6-1. Monstrous home run, a 3-run dinger, and the Brewers lead 6-1. Bottom of the 6th inning, Ethier, Ramirez, and Blake in that order. Manny Parra has been very impressive as he comes up and into Andre. Through 5 innings, no walks. He's had 1 3-ball count. And he's had 9 ground balls. They said coming in, if he's on his game, you'll see ground balls, and that's what we've seen. 2-0 to Ethier. Fly to left field, grounded into a double play. And ball 3. So no sooner do you talk about Parra, no walks, 1 3-ball count. In the blink of an eye, that counts 3-0. Rivera going out there, looked like he was kind of getting on par a little bit. His body language, the way he gestured with his hands, it was like, come on, get with it. 3-0. Down the pipe. 90-mile-an-hour fastball. 3-1. And almost hit him. Now that's ball 4 and the first walk. Because he has only one strikeout. So Ken Maka, who among other things in his career managed the Oakland A's and won the American League West in 2003 and 2006. But he's a little unhappy, leading 6-1 to walk the leadoff man. And the batter now is Manny Ramirez, trying to wake up his club and the crowd. Manny, sinking line drive double in the first inning, grounded out away. Now each time he's been started with a fastball on the outside part of the plate. So this time they work him inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Manny with 11 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Foul back, 1-1. Putting his numbers together of late, 1 for 2 tonight, would make him 6 for 31. It would also focus in a little closer, make him 7 for 39 in the last 10 games. That, needless to say, is not Manny. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-2. Fastball sliced to right. Tough play for a guy just learning to play right field, and it goes foul. That would be asking a lot for Bill Hall, who is shading Manny over towards right center to catch a ball inside the chalk. 1-2. Brewers lead 6-1. We're now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Ethier at first, nobody out. 1-2 to count to Manny Ramirez. Casey Blake on deck. Time. Breaking ball, Manny wouldn't offer. 2-2 on that curve. Fastball. Players always use that expression, sitting on a pitch, and Manny was sitting on a 2-2 fastball and just pulled it too much. Now the guessing game continues. What do you throw on the heels of that 2-2 fastball? Another one, or was that a change? Yeah, that was an off-speed pitch, and Manny way out in front. So Parra went from the 90-mile-an-hour fastball to the 80-mile-an-hour change, which just died of exhaustion by the time it got to the plate. So So Manny goes back empty-handed. It's remarkable, considering his power, considering how aggressive Manny is. That's only the 39th time that he has struck out, and he has had well over 200 plate appearances. It's also only the second strikeout for Manny Parra. Casey Blake grounded a short, fly to right. 6-1 Brewers. Bottom of the sixth inning. Fastball got the inside corner. 1-1 to Casey. Casey had a bad wrist. He didn't play yesterday. Why? Because after the game Saturday, he did weightlifting and hurt his wrist. And Joe Torre was saying, boy, that's not the way it used to be. In the old days, and you talk about the old compared to the new, in the old days, a guy would play a full game like Casey and maybe have a beer. Instead, with the money involved this year, you play a full game and then you lift weights. 2-1 to Blake. Going after that fastball, and they'll get the feed and turn it for two. So no runs, no hits. Dodgers roll over in the sixth, and at the end of six, Brewers. And the pitching coach, Bill Castro, talking about movement, I'm sure, pitch selection, release point. There's so much to go into it. Bill Castro spent 18 years, almost all of them, as the bullpen coach. Seventh inning, 6-1 Brewers. Mike Cameron, ball one. Cameron today flied to center, walked, hit into a double play. That's a strike. 1-1. Mike's played with the White Sox, the Reds, the Mariners, the Mets, the Padres, and the Brewers. That's a strike. 1-2. Brewers had an option on Cameron's contract from last year, and they exercised it. He had 25 home runs, 70 RBIs last year. He has 15 home runs, 45 RBIs this year. 2-2. Fly ball. Manny's there. One away here in the 7th inning, and the batter will be J.J. Hardy. You know, Saturday, you're invited to the Dodgers Win Clinic and Luncheon presented by Best Buy. You can learn the game from Brad Osmus, Ron Say, and Tommy Lasorda. Enjoy lunch and a Q&A session with Joe Torre, Orlando Hudson, James Loney, and Mark Loretta. To purchase, visit Dodgers.com/win or call 323-224-2646. That's Saturday. Ball 1 to J.J., who has walked 3 times. And he hits a fly ball that makes Ethier backtrack. 2 down. And that'll bring up Bill Hall. Bill Hall struck out in the 2nd inning, drew a walk in the 4th, and grounded out in the 5th. So Bill has dipped underneath the dreaded line. He's now hitting 199. Brewers were in San Diego yesterday, so they played their game. They got on a bus. They came up here, and they were here in time, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Time to have dinner. Nice evening. Dodgers, meanwhile, forget about it. But it doesn't always work that way. It's amazing. Sometimes the team without any sleep, you say, well, they're done. And they just clobber the other club. And then when you talk to players who've been around a while, they always seem to say the same thing. And I'm not sure if it's true, but they always say, well, you're more tired the 2nd game than you are the 1st. Well, that's a bad feeling for the Dodgers, that they're going to be more tired tomorrow than they are tonight. They might have a little trouble. Gallardo going for Milwaukee is a 10-game winner. Check swing. See you later. So Bill Hall unable to hold up 1-2-3 inning, and that's a rarity tonight. And at the end of 6.5 innings, 6-1 Brewers, and the crowd will ask to stand for God Bless America.
Of God Bless America.
Tonight we welcome a pop and rock singer from Palm Springs. She was nominated for Best Rock Artist at the 2008 LA Music Awards. Please welcome Paige Williams. Accompanying Paige is Nancy B. on the Dodger organ.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the nights with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home.
And Orlando Hudson facing Manny Parra. And Parra's just been brilliant for 6. Allowing 1 run, 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 2, and he's gotten 2 double plays just when he needed them. A hot one by the diving McGee. Boy, that thing was burned. Kemp heading for 2, and he'll make it the overthrow to Fielder. And Matt holds on. Kemp almost fell down. He had a little trouble at first base. That's what made it even close at second. Watch when Matt, after scorching the ball inside third, when he gets to the bag at first base, he almost fell down, but he regained his balance and has himself a leadoff double. It would be the second Dodger double. Ramirez doubled in the first inning. So Matt goes storming in with his 14th double of the year. And now Loney, Hudson, and Ausmus. It's not as if Parra's worked too hard. He made 79 pitches in the first 6 innings, a little more than 13 pitches an inning. Ball 1. Loney flied to left, single to left. Parra's worked the ball away from him, and so James takes what he's given and went the other way. On the hands, and he turns to pull it. So pitch him away, he goes the other way. Pitch him inside, he turns on it. Kemp goes to third with 1 out, and the batter will be Orlando Hudson. Hudson grounded to third, fly to center, 0 for 2. So for Matt Kemp to reach third, one other Dodger got that far, and that was Ausmus, who scored in the 3rd inning. James McDonald gets up in the Dodger bullpen. Ausmus hits after Hudson, and then the pitcher, a little ground ball that should get the run in. Hardy takes care of Hudson, scoring is Kemp, and the Brewers lead is 6-2. Orlando picks up the run batted in. So with 2 down, Brad Ausmus single to center, grounded to third. 6 runs, 7 hits for the Brewers, 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. And Ausmus smokes another one. Boy, Brad has certainly been a solid fixture. 17 starts, and he just keeps getting base hits. So the Dodgers now will go to the bench, and another veteran who has done a good job, Mark Loretta, will come off the bench and hit for Weaver. So Mark checking in. We'll see what kind of success he has had against Parra in the past. 0 for 3. So Mark Loretta off the bench, spent a career with the Brewers. He was originally drafted by the Brewers out of Northwestern University back in '93. Came up in '95. Stayed with the Brewers until traded to Houston in '02. Then he went to the Padres, the Red Sox, the Astros again, and now the Dodgers. So 8 years with Milwaukee. And ball 1. Loretta has never been a power hitter. In fact, his best year with Milwaukee would be half a dozen home runs. But he also hit .316 that year. 1-0. Fastball missed. Manny Parra muttering to himself for the moment. Todd Coffey now gets up as Bill Castro heads to the mound to talk to Parra. So Todd Coffey warming up, but it's Parra, not Coffey, making Maka nervous. Six runs, 7 hits for the Brewers, 2 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. 2 out in the inning. Kemp led off with a double, and there were 2 ground balls. Second one got the run in, then Ausmus singles. So here's Loretta. Two and 0. And a fly ball into left center. Cameron is there, and that's the inning. So 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left, and at the end of 7, Brewers 6, Dodgers 2. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. 6-2 in favor of Milwaukee, 8th inning, and the Dodgers, after Jeff Weaver made 40 pitches and gave up 3, James McDonald picks up, and it'll be Mike Rivera, Manny Parra, and Felipe Lopez. You may remember, if you have that kind of a memory, that James McDonald wore number 52. But if you look at his uniform now, you will see that he is wearing number 31. And you'd be right to say, how come? One away. When the Dodgers acquired the services of left-hander George Sherrill, Sherrill always wore 52 with Baltimore. So James said, be my guest. I'll take 31. You take number 52. Welcome to the club. Drag bunt by Parra, but Loney is out to cut him off at the calf. 2 down. Nice try. Not a bad idea at all, especially against a pitcher just coming into the game. So Parra leading 6-2. Tries to bunt his way aboard. He did score a run. He was on when Braun hit that 3-run home run. So with 2 out, here's Felipe Lopez. Grounded out, struck out twice, fly to left. 0 for 4. Fouled away. And that's going to be a hopper snared by Hudson. His throw in time. Nice play by Orlando. And at the end, 7.5, 6. Big blow. 3-run home run by Ryan Braun. Dodgers unable to answer back yet for Call, Ethier, and Ramirez in the 8th inning. One of the things Manny Parra has done so very well, he's gotten 13 ground balls tonight. Fastball lifted to right. Bill Hall. One away. So Parra has now worked 7 1/3. In his career, his longest outing, 7 2/3. Now his big league career just goes back to 07. Andre Ethier flied to left, grounded into a double play, and walked. The only walk that Parra has given. Drops that curveball in there. Nice pitch. 0-1. On deck, Manny Ramirez. Right. Should the Dodgers lose this game, they will then be break even against the Central Division. That is a rather unsettling thought, I'm sure, for everybody in the blue. 1-2 to Andre. Gallardo tomorrow night against Kuroda. Looper Wednesday night against Schmidt. Giants lost today. And a breaking ball takes care of Andre. Third strikeout for Manny Parra. And that'll bring up Manny. Big, slow curveball. Must have looked like a basketball. That left hand flies off the bat. This time he came up empty. Check swing. That'll be a strike. Ramirez a line drive double went under Braun's backhanded attempt in the first inning. Since then, grounded to second and struck out. Fouled away, 0-2. Two out in the eighth inning, 6-2 Brewers. Remember, the Dodgers had beaten the Brewers 19 of the last 25 here at Dodger Stadium. 0-2. Got him again. And another changeup. Boy, that is a great pitch. And he has used it to strike out Manny twice. 4 strikeouts for him, and at the end of 8, 6. Three-run home run by Ryan Braun, and great pitching by Manny Parra. Now in the ninth inning, it'll be Casey McGee, Ryan Braun, and then Cecil Fielder. Strike. 0-1. McGee walked and grounded out, and twice singled to center. 2 for 3. Hitting .324. 1 ball and 1 strike. That's a strike. James McDonald, the third Dodger pitcher. Clayton Kershaw, wild tonight, gave up 3. Jeff Weaver burned a 3-run home run by Braun. Comebacker. So 1 out in the ninth inning. The paid attendance tonight, lovely crowd on a Monday night, 46,544. Which means the Dodgers go over the 2,300,000 mark. And the 46,000, that's about 2,000 more than the average. And here's Ryan Braun talking about way above average. Hit into a force play, singled twice, and hit a 3-run home run. So Ryan Braun, born in Mission Hills, lives in Granada Hills, wearing out the Dodgers. 1-1 the count. Ryan was drafted number 1 4 years ago out of the University of Miami. Oh, nice big overhand curveball, 1-2. Ryan Braun reminds me about Sandy Koufax. Sandy Koufax was born Sanford Braun, B-R-A-U-N. Then Sandy took his stepfather's name when his mom remarried. 2-2. And he's going to roll that one through for his 4th hit. Sounded like he hit it with the morning paper, but it doesn't make any difference. 3 singles and a 3-run home run. And remember, the only time they got Braun tonight was that wonderful play by Rafael Furcal in the 1st inning. So he has had a huge night. And now here is fielding. Frustrating for him. He is 1 for 4, but it seems like every time he comes up, Braun's on base. And a high fly ball to left. Manny's there. 2 down.
Center fielder number 25, Mike Cameron.
Mike Cameron, the center fielder, flied to center and walked, hit into a double play and flied to left. So Mike 0 for 3 with J.J. Hardy on deck. Pretty good fastball at 95, and Cameron couldn't catch up to it. Oh and 1. And another one pulled to third. Blake stays with it, and they get the 4th play to end the inning. No runs, a hit, a man left, and we go to the bottom of the 9th. Manny Parra pitching the longest game of his career and leads 6-2. Ben's E-Class attention assist of the game, and what an assist it was as Ryan Braun takes Jeff Weaver downtown to deep left center field with 2 men aboard. That made it 6-2, and that's the way it is right now in the bottom of the 9th inning. Ryan Braun, when the Dodgers were in Milwaukee, they completely shut him down. That's right. Braun was 1 for 14 in the 3-game series in Milwaukee. Tonight, he comes back with a vengeance and goes 4 for 5. Casey Blake grounded to short, fly to right, hit into a double play. Ground ball to the hole by the diving Hardy. So you can bet Ken Maka is going to keep a wary eye out on Parra. He had never gone more than 7 2/3, and here he is in the 9th inning. Leadoff single, and Matt Kemp coming up. Down in the bullpen. He doesn't have to be identified. There's only one. Trevor Hoffman. Now let's wait a minute. Bill Castro's going out to the mound again. Kemp, Loney, and Hudson are due up. With a runner at first, nobody out. Remember when Ethier walked in the 6th inning, Castro went out, and Parra struck out Ramirez and got Blake to hit into a double play. They were concerned when Kemp opened up the 7th inning with a double. They went out to talk to him. And now when Blake opens up with a single in the 9th inning, they want to check him. Kemp lined out to third, grounded hard to third, and doubled inside third. So he's been all over Parra, and he's 1 for 3. Down and away. Starts him with a changeup, 1 ball and no strikes. And ball 2. Coming into the game, Matt was hitting .389 with 8 RBIs in the last 4 games. But in his last 4 games here at Dodger Stadium, Kemp was just 2 for 16. So the hot and the cold of it, and he bangs that for a base hit. Going over to cut it off is Jody Garrett, but Kemp is going to go into second base, and the Dodgers have second and third, and nobody out. So Manny Parra is hanging on. And with nobody out, second and third, Loney, Hudson, and Ausmus. Here comes Ken Maka, and that will do it for Manny Parra. So Parra got to the 9th, and the wheels came off the wagon, but he is still leading 6-2. And Trevor Hoffman will be coming in, and we'll be back. And he comes out, having already pitched the longest game in his career, going 8 innings, but somewhat disillusioned he couldn't make it a complete game. Pat on the back from Ken Maka. And now they give it to Trevor Hoffman. To see Trevor Hoffman come in against the Dodgers is rather remarkable. Not only 577 career saves, he has 66 out of 71 tries against the Dodgers, the most for Hoffman against any team. Trevor will be 42 the middle of October. Born in Bellflower, lives in Del Mar, went to the University of Arizona. Like his brother Glenn, at one time a shortstop, and their father Ed was a singing usher in Anaheim. Second and third, nobody out, and Loney at the plate. In fact, when Glenn Hoffman was signed by the Boston Red Sox, he had it in his contract that his dad would sing the national anthem in his major league debut. They had to strike Loney. And sure enough, they flew Father Ed to Boston when Glenn made his debut. Trevor couldn't get there. He had just had an appendicitis. Great family. 0-1. And hit down the right field line, heading for the bullpen gate. And a great catch or attempt by Hall, and it gets away into the stands. So Bill Hall reaching out for an attempt and just missed it. The double drives in 2. It is 6-4 in favor of the Brewers. You wonder they took Braun out because he's shaky in left to put in Jody Garrett. But of course, Bill Hall is not a right fielder. He's just learning the position, and that appeared to be a very catchable ball. But you can only play 3 of them out there, so the Dodgers now find themselves in the game. It's 6-4 Brewers, nobody out, and a strike to Orlando Hudson. So the 2 runs are charged to Manny Parra, and Loney gets credit for 2 runs batted in. Oh, and 1. 0-2. Hudson's been around a while. Let's see what he's done against Trevor Hoffman. 1 for 4. Juan Pierre and Russell Martin have the most at-bats against him. Ground ball by the diving fielder. So here comes Loney to score, and the Dodgers now trail 6-5, and they have the tying run at first base with nobody out. Now, we mentioned the 2 fellas who have the most appearances against Trevor Hoffman are Juan Pierre and Russell Martin, and here they come. Pierre is 3 for 11, and Martin is 4 for 12. So 2 tough hitters for Trevor Hoffman. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Jonathan Broxton begins to warm up. Time for the moment. For the Dodgers this year, never a dull moment. They get 3 here to get close 6-5. And maybe after that all-night flight, they have finally awakened. The bunt by Pierre, and the play in time. Down to second goes Hudson. So the tying run in scoring position with 1 out. So that leaves it up to Martin and or for call. The bunt, among other things, keeps the Dodgers out of the double play. And here comes Martin. So Pierre does his job, gets 5s. Martin 4 for 12 with a home run against Hoffman. So 4 runs charged to Manny Parra. 1 run charged so far against Trevor. And here's Martin. Martin becomes the 3rd Dodger pinch hitter. 4-1. Loretta fly to center in the 7th. Pierre sacrifices in the 9th. Kemp watches as Martin waits. 1 ball and no strikes. And ball 2. Of course, for Trevor Hoffman, his number 1 pitch for so many years, the changeup. Had as many as 43 saves 3 or 4 times, but he also had 53, a career high, and 46. 2-0 to Russell Martin. And a drive to center. Back goes Cameron to the track and makes the catch. Hudson tags up, and he will go to 3rd. Boy, was that a hold-your-breath fly ball. So Martin a long out to center. The tying run 90 feet away. Manny Parra's great work for 8 innings is also on the rack 90 feet away. And Rafael Furcal 1 for 4. The same Furcal who knocked in the first run in the 3rd inning coming up. Furcal versus Trevor Hoffman. 1 for 8 in the pass. 6-5 Brewers. They try to hang on in the 9th. A bunt back to Hoffman. He has to hurry, and the throw is safe. Ken Maka thought the throw had him, and Lance Barksdale, the first base umpire, saying no. Kind of a slap bunt, and it appeared like it took Trevor a little longer, and then the throw, and Furcal was safe. The ball did not come back to Hoffman in a hurry either. It seemed to hit the grass and then die like a poached egg on toast, and that ate up a little more time.
Number 60.
So 1st and 3rd, 2 out, bottom of the 9th, 6-5 Brewers, and Andre Ethier at the plate. Hoffman, by the way, has 2 wild pitches, and for Andre Ethier, he is 2 for 7 in the pass against Hoffman. Foul back out of play, 0-1. Ethier is the 8th man to come up here in the 9th inning as the Dodgers try to get off the floor. 6 runs, 8 hits for the Brewers, 5 runs, 11 hits for the Dodgers. Hudson the tying run at 3rd, and Furcal at 1st. Ethier 0 for 3 tonight. Did have a walk. There goes Furcal. Pitch is dropped at the plate, or did it hit Ethier first? And I think it hit Ethier the way the plate umpire is saying. Yep. The Ethier hit by the pitch. Do you believe this? The bases are going to be loaded, and Manny Ramirez will be the hitter. how about Manny Ramirez against Trevor Hoffman? Manny has had one at-bat against Trevor, 0 for 1. So nothing to learn from that. Manny doubled in the first inning, grounded out in the third, struck out on change-ups in the sixth and in the eighth. And of course, Trevor Hoffman has had a magnificent career based on the change-up. So this will be very interesting. Foul back. Hudson at third, Percall at second, Ethier at first. Mike Rivera talking to Marvin Hudson. Well, Trevor has certainly been through the mill. He's been doing this for back around 1993. 0-1. One ball and one strike. Always remember the story that Trevor talks about his older brother Greg. When Trevor was playing Little League, he came home and his older brother said to him, "How'd it go?" And Trevor said, "I was 2 for 4 with an RBI." And his brother said, "When I ask you how you did, I'm asking you about the team. That's the last time you'll let me know how you did first." And a fly ball to right field. Bill Hall is there. And for Trevor Hoffman's older brother, he did well. Manny Parra gets the victory, and it is yet another save, a nervy one indeed for Trevor. He now has 67 of 72 chances against the Dodgers.